I remember it very well. I was present in that hospital. This stimulated me to change my career to emergency medicine and pre-hospital care. And I became the first trainee in the army in emergency medicine as a direct result of this particular incident. What came out of that, what was the phoenix out of that particular incident, was a course I developed for doctors, nurses and paramedics in the UK and internationally, both military and civilian, what to do at the scene of a multiple casualty incident. I took that and I determined a simpler version for individual soldiers within battlefield casualty drills, which I transformed in 1998. I've deployed a lot over my 40-year career. When I've deployed on 6 occasions, I was the medical director of a field hospital. I was the senior doctor in the field hospital. Every conflict has its own pattern of signature injuries. So wherever I've been, we've had to learn how to deal with that particular pattern of injuries and then rapidly change our clinical procedures to be as effective as possible. Combat casualty care has been utterly transformed in the recent conflicts of Iraq and Afghanistan, and we know that medicine advances in war. And then we take those advances and spread it to our civilian colleagues so that the whole population benefits from what we learn. And that is absolutely true of Iraq and Afghanistan, that soldiers who would have been similarly injured in a previous conflict would not have survived. We have a cohort of what we call unexpected survivors, people with a severity of injuries that we have never seen before get to rehabilitation. And that's not just one element, that is a series of changes in concepts, changes in clinical guidelines, changes in equipment, but most importantly, changes in governance. If you were to ask me what is the single most important reason for improving combat casualty care, it's the data that we have collected, exquisite data from point of injury all the way through to rehabilitation, and we have aggressively prosecuted week on week, month on month, how we can continuously improve in small increments to a degree that we had a strategic drift from the National Health Service. We could get a better outcome in a tent in the desert than any teaching hospital in the United Kingdom. But if I take Kosovo, what stands out for me in Kosovo is not only the clinical treatment that we gave to the soldiers and the local nationals, but I was asked by Department for International Development to design, build and equip an emergency department in their 2,400 bed hospital in Pristina in just 6 weeks, which was hard enough, but I also had to introduce the specialty of emergency medicine in the same period. And what is so refreshing is that new emergency centre in 1999 in a failing hospital is still working today. The issue that we're facing today is not our clinical capability, it's about capacity. And if we were to undertake large-scale combat operations, and there is an existential threat of war spreading in the European continent, if we were to face very large numbers of casualties, then initially it would be very hard to sustain the same standards that we have for small numbers of casualties in low intensity conflict. But we have been developing new concepts and patient flow management guidelines across NATO to see how we optimise the management of casualties at scale. It is really important to continue to learn from contemporary conflicts. We are taking a lot of lessons from the Russia-Ukraine war, and in my NATO role as the elected chair of the Committee of Chiefs of military medicine across NATO, then we are absolutely sharing lessons and ensuring that we are best positioned for the next conflict.
Thanks for watching. For more from BFBS Forces News, like and subscribe to our channel.